What if the law looked you in the eyes and chose to do nothing? What if the person you loved most died screaming for justice and no one answered? Kim Do-gi is not driven by rage alone. He is driven by unresolved trauma, moral collapse, and silent grief. Kim Do-gi's psychological foundation: discipline over emotion. Before tragedy, Kim Do-gi already had one defining trait: self-control. This is important. Psychologically, people who rely on discipline often grow up learning that emotions must be contained to survive. Kim Do-gi doesn't express pain. He organizes it. After his mother's death, this trait becomes extreme. He controls his voice. His facial expressions remain neutral. His body language is calculated. This is called emotional suppression, a coping mechanism where emotions are buried to maintain functionality. Suppression helps him operate, but it slowly erodes his emotional health. He is calm not because he feels nothing, but because feeling everything would destroy him. The murder of his mother, complex trauma, not just grief. Kim Do-gi doesn't suffer from simple grief. He experiences complex trauma. Why? Because the violence was sudden and brutal. He witnessed the aftermath. The system failed to punish the criminal. This creates learned injustice, the belief that the world is unsafe and unfair. From a psychological view, this shatters three core beliefs. The world is orderly, authority protects the innocent, good people are rewarded. Once these beliefs collapse, the mind searches for a new system of meaning. Kim Do-gi builds his own. Moral injury. Why the law becomes his enemy. Moral injury occurs when someone witnesses a betrayal of moral values by institutions meant to uphold them. For Kim Do-gi, the legal system doesn't just fail, it betrays him. This explains why he doesn't merely dislike corrupt criminals. He despises cowardly systems. He no longer asks, "Is this legal?" He asks, "Is this right?" This shift marks his transformation from citizen to executioner of justice. Revenge as meaning-making. Revenge is often misunderstood as emotional immaturity. In Kim Do-gi's case, revenge is existential survival. Psychologically, when trauma lacks resolution, the brain seeks order, control, purpose. Revenge gives him all three. Every mission rewrites his helplessness, replaces chaos with structure, turns pain into function. This is known as post-traumatic meaning construction, turning suffering into a mission to avoid psychological collapse. Without revenge, Kim Do-gi would be forced to face raw grief, and he is not ready for that. The mask, how he switches personalities. Kim Do-gi's ability to transform into different personas is more than acting skill. Psychologically, it's adaptive identity shifting. Trauma survivors often learn to become whoever the situation demands in order to stay safe. Each disguise serves a function: protection, deception, emotional distancing. When he wears a role, he is not Kim Do-gi. And when he's not Kim Do-gi, he doesn't have to feel pain. Violence without sadism. Kim Do-gi's violence is precise, not chaotic. He does not lash out randomly. He targets specific individuals. He stops once the balance feels restored. This reflects instrumental aggression. Violence used as a tool, not an emotional release. But here's the danger. Every justified act of violence reinforces the belief that pain is the only language criminals understand. Slowly, his moral boundary shifts. Empathy for victims. The mirror effect. Kim Do-gi sees his mother in every victim. This creates trauma empathy, intense identification with others' suffering. It's why he listens quietly. He never rushes victims. He absorbs their pain without complaint. But this also leads to emotional contamination. carrying the trauma of others on top of his own. He becomes a container for pain, and containers eventually crack. Emotional isolation and avoidant attachment. Despite being surrounded by people, Kim Do-gi is deeply alone. Trauma teaches him attachment equals loss. This leads to avoidant attachment. He avoids emotional dependence. He minimizes his own needs. He keeps relationships functional, not intimate. He protects everyone, but allows no one to truly know him. Guilt, self-punishment, and silent self-destruction. Kim Do-gi doesn't see himself as someone who deserves peace. This is survivor's guilt combined with self-punitive behavior. Risking his life repeatedly is not bravery alone. It's also unconscious self-punishment. If he suffers, it feels fair. If he bleeds, his mother's death feels less meaningless. Is healing possible for Kim Do-gi? Psychologically, healing would require grieving without action, accepting helplessness, trusting others again. But that would mean letting go of the identity that keeps him alive. Kim Do-gi is not afraid of death. He is afraid of emptiness. Kim Do-gi is not a villain. He is not a pure hero either. He is the product of unheard victims, broken systems, untreated trauma. If justice had worked, would Kim Do-gi still exist?